Today I'm organising my pantry and doing some shelf-stable batching.
Welcome back to my channel, Tani Batch Cooking. Today I'll be tackling two things. Firstly, a pantry clear out and organisation so that I can work out what cupboard stable ingredients I've got and what I can use to batch prep some cupboard stable meals. And what I mean by that is some ready to go meal kits that don't need to be stored in the fridge or freezer. They can just go in the cupboard and be ready to use whenever I want them. Perfect if you're short on freezer space or you just want something easy to throw in the pan on busy weeknights. So let's get started with the pantry clear out.
We actually redid our kitchen at the end of last year, beginning of this year. The kitchen we had before was falling apart and it was completely the other way round to what it is now. It was a pretty big undertaking. We swapped around all of the electric and water. We added patio doors and I was without a kitchen for several months. My husband did most of the work himself with the help of his dad. We just got a few trades in to do like plastering, electric and plumbing. All the floor, cupboard fitting, worktops, painting, everything else was my husband and his dad. So it took slightly longer than it would have done with a professional kitchen company, but now I am very grateful to have a pantry in a pretty much finished kitchen. So I want to keep it clean, organised and looking nice. This pantry cupboard was starting to get into a bit of a mess. So first I took everything out so I could see what I had. Somehow things that shouldn't have been in there had migrated there. There were empty containers that could be filled, loads of nearly empty packets. So once everything was out, I gave it all a quick wipe down with a damp cloth and some antibacterial spray. Then I decanted various foods into containers to keep them fresher for longer. So I have a breathable potato sack, which I put my potatoes in. I have an onion and garlic container that keeps onion and garlic fresh. Pasta went into a big lock and lock container, and so did a bag of plain flour. I don't have quite enough containers for everything that I want to put in a container, but I'm slowly building my collection. Don't do it just for the sake of it, although I do like how it looks, but I do find that it keeps the food fresher than keeping like a half open bag of something where it never reseals. So put it into stuff to keep it fresh. Also wanted to make space on the top shelf so that I can start collecting a few bits for Christmas. So going forward, I'll add a few things into my weekly shops like cranberry sauce, chestnuts, that kind of thing, and slowly build up everything that we need for Christmas without having a massive bill in December. This is the aftermath of emptying everything out of the cupboard. It always looks a lot worse before it looks better. It covered all the worktop. Whenever I'm doing a pantry reset, I'm not trying to make it perfect. I just want to be able to see what I've got so that I can use it. It's not about Instagram perfect organisation, it's about making my life easier when I'm cooking. I try to group foods together by how I use them. So on the bottom shelf, I've got all of our alcohol, which we don't use very much. I've also got my bread bins and I put my potatoes and onions down there as well. I put my garlic on the top shelf because you're not supposed to keep garlic and onions together. And on the left side of the second shelf, I try to put things like oils, pasta, vinegar, jars which have got lentils, grains, that kind of thing. So like goes with like, basically. I also have an old vegetable basket, which I found wasn't the best for keeping actual vegetables in because they would fall through the gaps and they would go off quickly. But I now use that for things that are sealed snacks. So at the moment, I've got loads of ice cream cones and wafers and a few little chocolate bars and sweets in there. So the kids can easily grab them from the basket and it keeps it contained within the cupboard. So here's a quick little overview. As I say, it's not Pinterest perfect, but it's practical and it does the job that I need it to do. To keep my massive silver foil, which is from Costco there because it won't fit anywhere else. And I would like to get a few more jars so I can have everything in similar containers. So here we've kind of got like meal making ingredients and then snacks in the wire basket and biscuit tin. And then on the shelf above, I've got all of my baking ingredients, all my flours and sugars and that kind of thing. And now I can actually see everything that I've got, so I can get on with a little bit of meal prep. And as I say, I left the top shelf mostly empty so I can start stocking up on Christmas treats. I have started doing some Christmas shopping already. I've been picking up a few bargains in the sales for my kids, like Christmas Eve boxes and that kind of thing. I can do a video on that too if anyone's interested.
So now the pantry's all organised, I can actually see what I've got, which makes it much easier to batch prep some meals. Today I'm making 4 different shelf-stable meal kits. So let's get started with the first one, which is lasagna soup.
On TikTok and Instagram, people have been asking me for ideas of how to batch cook if you don't have a lot of fridge and freezer space. So this is what I've come up with that you can store in the cupboard. You do need to add a few ingredients when you're cooking, but it's easy to get the bulk of it done, have it in the cupboard, ready to use whenever you want to. So each of these is 2 portions, and I made 2 of each recipe. For the lasagna soup, you need 6 sheets of lasagna pasta broken up and then add that into an airtight container. This one I'm using reusable freezer bags. A link to those in the description below, you can get them on Amazon. Then in with the pasta goes 1 teaspoon of dried onion granules, 1 teaspoon of garlic granules and 1 teaspoon of mixed herbs or oregano. You can store that together with 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. When you want to cook it, you just need to add all the dry ingredients, the chopped tomatoes and 1 to 2 cups of water into a saucepan. Bring it to boil and then allow it to simmer until it's all heated through. You can also add some cooked beef mince as well as some grated cheese on top. Perfect for the upcoming autumnal season. As I make these over the next few weeks, I will film it and show you what the complete meals look like too. I've stored my freezer bags and the tins of chopped tomatoes that I'll need for the meals with that and put the instructions on there. Next up, we've got shakshuka sauce. This one's really simple because it's just pretty much spices and chopped tomatoes. So in a small Ziploc bag, I put 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and a pinch of chili flakes. That gets stored together with 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. And this one does need a few more things doing to it when you come to cook it. So in a casserole dish or lidded frying pan that you can use on the hob, add in your chopped tomatoes, half a cup of water and your spice mix all together and bring it to a boil and then allow it to simmer. Then crack in 2 eggs per person, put the lid on and allow the eggs to cook through. You can add salt and pepper to your taste in all of these recipes. Once the eggs are cooked through, it's ready. You can serve this with some crumbled feta or some fried halloumi. These type of cupboard stable recipes are also great to take camping or to a self-catering holiday. For this one, eggs are a great cupboard stable ingredient which you can take camping. And if you're in a self-catered holiday, you can easily just add some cheese from the fridge too. I think these type of meals would also be a great starter kit for uni students as well. You could just send them off with a load of ready-to-go meals. And storing them together in a rigid container in the cupboard helps you to see what you've got and keep it organised as well. And next up, we have Spanish-style rice. So this time I used medium-sized Ziploc bag and in there goes half a cup of long grain rice, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of dried onion and half a teaspoon of oregano or mixed herbs. Again, for this one, I wrote the cook instructions on a piece of masking tape on the bag. When it comes to cooking, you need to add the rice with 1.5 cups of water, a tablespoon of olive oil to a saucepan. Bring that to boil and allow it to simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. This one has a few more things to add at cooking stage, so you can add a drained tin of chickpeas, a teaspoon of lemon juice and some chopped up chorizo if you want to. Probably also be really nice with a bit of crumbled feta or halloumi as well. So I stored this one along with a tin of chickpeas and a bottle of lemon juice concentrate that's cupboard stable before it's opened. After you've opened it, you will need to put it in the fridge, but it doesn't take up too much space and it lasts for ages as well. And again, that all goes into a rigid container to go in the cupboard. You could use like those plastic baskets you can get, or I actually ended up putting this into a bigger Tupperware that I had because this one wasn't quite fitting everything. And the final recipe for this video is a Mexican rice bowl. And for this one, I used a medium Ziploc bag again, and in there goes half a cup of long grain rice, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, half a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And to store with this one, you also need a tin of chopped tomatoes and a tin of beans. I used black beans. And this is cooked in a really similar way to the Spanish rice. You cook the rice in the tin of tomatoes and you might need to add half a cup of water as well. So cook that for 15 to 20 minutes and then add in your drained tin of black beans and allow them to heat through. This one you can add whatever you like really. It'd be nice with a poached egg, some grated cheese, maybe a chopped up avocado, some sour cream, whatever you've got on hand that you think will pair well with it. Now I've got 16 portions of 4 different recipes prepped and ready in the cupboard. You need minimal effort to cook on the night and they're just ready to go. You don't have to think about it, they're already done. I have got a few more similar recipes to this written down, so if you would like to see those as well, then let me know in the comments. I can do a second video with different recipes in. I'll be adding all the recipes and methods for these onto my Substack, so make sure you're signed up to my free Substack newsletter. I'll put the link in the description below, and that will be going out to subscribers in a few days' time. Also pop a link in the description to my Amazon storefront, which has got my most used batch cooking equipment on it. It only took me an hour to batch prep 16 portions of 4 different recipes. A space in one of my other cupboards that does need a complete reorganisation, but we'll ignore that for now. They're in the cupboard, they're cupboard stable, and they're ready to go whenever I want to use them.
And that's it for today. The pantry's all organised and I've got 8 ready to go meals in the cupboard made from shelf stable ingredients. This kind of prep saves money, stops food going to waste, and takes the stress out of weeknight cooking. I hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to hit subscribe. I share batch cooking videos most weeks. And let me know in the comments if you're going to make any of these meals or if there's anything that you'd like to see batch cooking wise on this channel.